You're listening to The Kelly Slusher Show with your host, Kelly Slusher. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me again for my fun podcast episode. I do think about this podcast a lot throughout the week. If you've been listening, you know that I juggle a lot of things in my life. And I seem to always be adding more things. I'm like, how am I going to fit that in? I'm like, just do it. I believe in living. Live. Do the things you want to do. So I had this really, this experience happened on, let's say it was on Friday. Okay, I have this coworker. And yes, I do talk about my job on this podcast because it's such a dominant part of my life and it's entertaining. I only tell you some things, but this is good. So I work with this one woman and I'm just going to say her name, Nicole. I don't think she cares. And when I first started, she didn't seem to like me, but now I can kind of see why, because she's one of these people, she calls herself like a coconut, where like she's kind of hard. And when you first meet her, she'll be kind of like this hardened, like, who are you? Which is kind of cool. But she's soft on the inside once you get to know her. But I'm not like that. I'm more like, I would say, it's not like everyone I meet is all of a sudden in my thing, but I'm soft on the outside and hard on the inside. Just kidding. And then I'm soft on the inside. But the soft on the outside is more, it's not an illusion, but I'm friendly, but I'm not like letting everybody in automatically. I don't want people to, that's just my personality. That's how I am. So she is, this isn't part of the story, but I was going to explain a little backstory with her. So it was really hard for me to work with her because I was working there. She had worked there and then I had started work. She had quit. She wasn't there months and months and months. She had come back and she, had been working there many years before. So she, when she saw me, she wanted to basically tell me what to do and be bossy. And I didn't like that. I knew what I was doing, and she would just kind of like stare at me like, what are you doing? And she'd be like, what are you doing now? And it was really annoying. So I told the head bear, I was like, please, I don't want to work shifts with her. I was able to get out of like one of the shifts. So I didn't have to work with her. So then they ended up hiring this other person, this other baker. And she was probably one of the most flaky people I've ever met. And it was bad. So Nicole she got stuck with this other girl. Because of that, she was like, oh, and she realized that I was not that. And so she now absolutely loves me and respects me and, we become friends. And because I'm like a soft-hearted person, I don't hold grudges. Generally, not that I don't have feelings, but if something hurts me, might take me time. But generally, I don't like to walk around angry at everybody or take things personal. So on Friday, one of the owners came up. She came up to me and her, because we work on Friday together, and she goes, would one of you like to, or either of you, both of you, would like to ring the bell for a farmer's market? And there's a very lively, active farmer's market on Saturdays where I work. It's like right there. And it's a big thing that the whole town comes out, and it's really fun for people. It's small, not huge, but it's good. It's a good one. A lot of great farmers. And before I could say, I was going to say like, yeah, I will. My reaction was like, yeah. And I'm thinking, okay, yeah, I guess, I don't care to ring the bell. I'm like, okay, I guess. But she was like, I'll do it. I want to do it. I was like, yeah. She's like, it's been my dream. I've been wanting to ring that bell for years. And I was like, really? Oh yeah, please ring the bell. I'll film you. And she was so excited. Oh my gosh, I get to ring the bell. She was it was as if I was like this, she's a mom, a wife, and, and she's like mature. She just like I've never even seen this part of her. And she was like, this little girl came out of her. I get to ring the bell. Oh my gosh. Oh, I've been thinking about this. And then she's like talking about how she's going to do it. And there's just one, she was like literally thinking about this for so long. And like, once she gets to the certain part, she's going to do this twirl. She was so excited. And her excitement, I could feel it. And it's like this, I just want to say, we all need that. Like everyone needs something that gets them that excited. Like what is your bell ringing? What is it that makes you want to like get so giddy and excited? It's so simple. And I think that's the thing that I thought was so amazing. It was such a simple thing for someone to, I don't know, who knows why this was so exciting for her. So, and I could feel it, like the anticipation, like she was so excited, and like, then, next morning comes around. I was like, I bet you've been thinking of it. She's like, yes, I'm like, I knew it. You were just so excited. She's like, oh yeah, I bet you could barely sleep. She's like, yes. And she had texted her husband the day that, she goes, I get to ring the bell. And he texts back. He's like, oh, heaven help us. So I film her and I could barely keep up with her. She's taller than me. So I'm like filming her and like, I like what I filmed. It was really good. Someone was like blowing bubbles on her and she was just like the happiest person I've ever seen as she's ringing this bell. And then we're like following her and then she stops. She pulls out these flowers and she throws them in like these petals, throws them in the air, does this twirl and then keeps going. And then we get to the end. And when we first showed up, the lady was like, oh, you guys can both do this. It's fun. It's funner with two people. I was like, no. And then at the very end, I told the lady, I was like, this was her dream. And she's like, oh, I'm like, yeah. And then Nicole was like, oh, that's awesome that you held your ground and you let me do it. And I was like, oh yeah, no, I know what this meant to you. There's no way I was going to like take this from you. Although I'm sure she'll be ringing the bell multiple times now that everyone knows she's this excited. But it was so like, I'm like, oh my gosh, whatever in our lives can get us that excited, we've got to live. I'm telling you, it was a really cool experience. Like, I'm like, thanks for letting me see that and experience that. It's really fun. Amazing. Anyway, I wanted to share that because it's that like, what gets you excited? What gets you like wanting to wake up in the morning and just, oh my gosh. What is your bell ringing? What rings your bell? Anyway, that was a good story. And, I don't know. Now I'm referencing that in my head. I'm like, I do have things that get me that excited. I am kind of in my head. I can get like, woo about things. Not the simple bell ringing things. Like I wish I had something. I was trying to think in my head, is there anything that I've been wanting to do that I haven't admitted I wanted to do that would make me that excited? And I'm trying to think in my head if there was just something simple, but I will say I'm one of those people that if I want to do something, I will do it or I work towards doing that. So it doesn't surprise me that I was very supportive and didn't make fun of her. Like, oh my gosh, what are you? No, I do. It's why I'm doing this podcast. I've done a lot of things. I've done them because they sounded cool and I wanted to do them. And, nothing has been like, I'm going to climb the top of Mount Everest. I mean, things like that. No, but it's more like creative stuff and things like that. Or like I wanted to live in New York. So I found my way to New York City. And then I was like, I want to leave New York. This is too hard. Too many people. Although I've talked about how fun it is to go visit because I know it so well. Yeah, it's great to visit, great to spend time there, but then you get to leave. But every time I go to New York, there's so much like you walk around. Like I remember walking around just like neighborhoods, and I like to look at the street art because it's a lot of like, it's not like people just tagging. It's literally like collages and just really cool things and like really neat murals and like people just kind of painting things and just doing stuff. And like that inspires me. That kind of, I don't know, I get really inspired when I see all the art. And I like the little art galleries, and I like a lot of that kind of thing. It's just, I get very inspired when I go to New York. I should do that more often, but I live on the other side of the country. It's not as easy to get to. Anyway, so I was thinking the other day, what if, like those big, like, balls, like those big, I think like McDonald's used to have them, but there would be like these big ball pits. You can just like hop into the ball pit, which always looked really fun. And I don't know if I ever did it, maybe as a kid, but as an adult, I'm like, I wish they had, and I think somewhere did have this. It was probably like San Francisco, but somewhere where there was like a big play area for adults, so you can just go and just be a big kid. And they had, I don't know, I did hear about something like that. But that sounds really fun. But instead of like a bunch of like a big thing, you jump into the balls, it's a big pile of donuts. So this is my idea. You get butt naked or you put on like some like white suit, but you jump. So this would be like a birthday. Oh, happy birthday. Yay. Because I don't love donuts, but I love the idea of like jumping into a big pile of donuts and just like, they're all edible and clean. So you just can just like eat, and just eat, just lay there and just like eat. But be careful, don't choke. Just munch your way through, and then afterwards, that would not be good for me. That donuts are too intense. I hate when I like show up somewhere and like, we got donuts. It's like 7 a.m. I'm like, I can't have that. Even like Sunday mornings where they do the croissants. They have croissants in this place on Sundays, and it's like the lines out the door for the croissants, and they're sold out within hours, and which is funny. I don't make croissants, but I watch them make the croissants. I remember on Sunday, one of the owners went up to the other owner who I was working with, and he goes, I was talking to somebody who said that our croissants are nothing because he made croissants and he was a croissant. He went to France and he studied croissants. You can just tell that he was like had a conversation with someone that just dissed his business. And I said, oh, did he say he made croissants or did he say he made croissants? And he goes, oh, he just called them croissants. Oh, I knew he was fake. I knew he was full of it. I was like, that's how you can tell. If you go to France, you always say, I need to be French and call it croissant. We won't talk about that, but it's true. I wouldn't, just because I'm a hillbilly. Okay, so there was this thing I saw. Okay, have you guys ever heard of Balloonfest 86? I had not. So apparently Cleveland, Ohio, had this event where Balloonfest. So they had like 1 million balloons that they had collected, helium. They collected, I don't know how many days it took them to collect it. And it was this big netting, and it was over their city, right by, over the city. And people just, they kept filling the balloons up. Like the residents kept filling the balloons. And there were so many balloons. It was like this dark cloud of just balloons. And they were just like sitting and waiting to release them. I was watching the footage on that. Even as a kid, as a little kid, I would have said, is that safe to do? Is this something that they should... I would have questioned it. I was that kind of kid. Like, I had on, like, the safety goggles. I was one of those people, like, as a kid. I was always like, is that... I was a wise child, okay? 1986. Now, this is what I'm thinking. People... I don't know how to... I've seen so many weird things like this. It's almost like they weren't as intelligent, because that wouldn't happen now. So what I'm thinking is... I mean, you can imagine where this went. Like, you should look it up. It's on YouTube. But the whole idea, it's all on YouTube. Well, a lot of that stuff is, right? Right? Take a wild ride sit back with a bowl of popcorn and learn history on YouTube. You don't even have to leave your chair. Okay, you can travel anywhere. It'll be on there. Someone put a video out. Almost anything I think you could find. Okay, maybe not. Okay, almost every single thing is on there, except for it's not. But sort of. Absolutely, kind of, maybe. No, actually, no. Okay, anyway, so this is what I'm thinking. So, okay, so they released all the balloons. They finally released all the balloons, and a million of them. And they all fly slowly into the air, but the wind, I think there was something to do with the weather. It was cold, and I don't understand. I don't remember exact details of why. But a lot of them just kind of deflated and started popping and falling to the ground. And they have their whole water, whatever, their river. It was all in the river. And it was some of it. Okay, this is the thing. This is the thing about it. The reason why they did this balloon fest was because they wanted to make their city, they kind of wanted to put themselves on the map as we are going to be the city that released 1 million balloons into the air. And everyone's going to say, whoa, Cleveland, you guys are really hip. Wow, I want to go there. I never even thought about Cleveland, but now Cleveland, so I'm thinking about the board of directors of the city council or whoever they are who decided that they were we need something big. I can just see it. We need something that's going to really bring the life back into Cleveland. People are going to want to come here. I want some ideas. Tomorrow, 5 p.m., before 5 p.m., I want this on. We're going to have another meeting, and I want to hear your ideas. And somebody decided, I have the brilliant idea of why don't we release 1 million helium-filled balloons into the air. It'll be a Guinness Book of World Records. I promise. It will put us on the map. And they're like, and nobody, maybe there was one person, but no one's like, oh, let me see. What could go wrong? How could that be? I can't imagine why that would not be a good idea. That's a great idea. Because anything that goes up must come down. So they release all these balloons, and they're all excited, and the whole town and city is just, oh my gosh. But I would have been like, this is a bad idea. It all apparently, so what didn't fall and scattered throughout their land went over to Canada. And I'm sure they had a mess to clean up. Why didn't they think of that? It's stuff like that makes me think. I'm telling you, there are sometimes things that have happened in history. Why didn't they think that through? That's not intelligent. Were they not intelligent? Were there less intelligent people? I don't know. Unbelievable. It was a bad idea. And the Guinness Book of World Records said no. They said nope, it did not go into their records because it was actually a disaster. Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. Okay, so I thought of the word hoarder. Hoarder. I would be so ashamed, honestly, if someone came to my house and said, you are a hoarder. I'm not a hoarder. No. I used to I think I was more into having probably collecting more things, and my place would get a little bit cluttery. And so I kind of stopped doing that. And then when something's really cute that I like, I have to think, well, I'm going to have to replace. I just can't have too many things. But I live in a really small place now, but it's not hoardery at all. It's actually quite nice. But the word hoarder is so close to the word hors d'oeuvres, but it has that H on it, so some people pronounce it hors d'oeuvres. Hors d'oeuvre. Would you like a hoarder hors d'oeuvre? They're so different. The idea of a hoarder puts this idea of just stink and rot and why, in my head at least. And then hors d'oeuvre puts the idea of, I'll have that little scrumptious treat on the plate, so nice and delicately put there. Almost the same thing. They're so close, almost the same thing. And what would a hoarder's or hors d'oeuvres look like? Be a big pile of just a bunch of things they find in the refrigerator that's from 10 years old. Not to make fun of hoarders, but I have been in some hoarder houses, and it's just the vibes are just not there for me. The vibes aren't there for me. Okay. I really want to go to and use this line. Okay, today was a good day. I didn't have to use my AK. And I think about that song because it's so silly. Oh, how was your day? It was a great day. I didn't have to use my AK. Using that line somewhere where no one would get it. But maybe going to a cashier that's elderly lady, with the blue hair. How are you doing, darling, today? Oh, today was a good day. I didn't even have to use my AK. And she'd be like, what in the world? And I would say, can I get a pack of Marlboros? No, I don't smoke. I don't smoke. I smoked when I was trying to be cool, in high school. And I was standing around with the cool kids in the smoker's corner. Because we had those back in my day. They have those now. Doubt they have that now. They have the vaping corners now. But I remember I may have told the story, but I was thinking I was cool. I was smoking, but I wasn't inhaling it. I didn't know I wasn't inhaling it. And then it was the lamest part. I tried to be so cool. And then one time someone's like, you're not inhaling. And I was like, oh, I'm not? No, you're not even inhaling it. You're just putting it in your mouth and then blowing it right out. And I was like, oh, that's not smoking? They're like, no, you've taken it to your lungs. And it's okay. And I did, and I just coughed like crazy. And I'm like, this is horrible. Why would you do this? Why would you do this? And then I think when I was I think I smoked on and off to try to be cool. I don't know if I was really I think I started to inhale, but I was like, this is horrible. And then, yeah. And then a little bit. And then I stopped because I was like, this makes me feel bad. I do not like this. This is not my thing. But I had a dream this morning. I had this dream that I was playing this big concert, and I had my pink guitar my awesome little pink guitar that I love. And, I kept not being able, and it was huge. It was one of those concerts where there was just thousands of people and the lights were shining. And I had two band members. I had a drummer and probably a bass player, but we were really far apart because the stage was so big. But I kept not being able to get through this song. And I just remember one point being why can't I strum? And there was this a toilet paper roll, a full toilet paper roll, somehow was on the neck of my guitar. Oh, that's why I can't play this toilet paper roll. I'm like, how did that get there? And so then after the show, I was like, sorry guys, I don't know this, but I was trying to play that song. And I remember it was this one song, when I wake up in the morning, yet to face another day, will this lifetime show this girl there is no other way to behold. It was this waiting to be free. When that song, one of my favorite, I would say one of the best songs I've written. But I couldn't get through because all of a sudden there was this toilet paper roll on the neck, and then I was like, that's spooky. Something was haunting me. Okay, so I've been talking, and it's already 24 minutes in. Let me see. Time. Where is the time? I've been so busy. Butler. I like the Butler. He's a butter butler, but those words are so similar. So, okay, I was going to quickly tell I know I mentioned that I got a bunny. It's kind of a long story, but I'm going to try to scale it down. Okay, I got a bunny, a girl bunny, because my friend had a bunny, and I got the bunny spontaneously because she got a bunny and I thought it was cute. And before she got her bunny, we had it was a month. I didn't talk to her because I was mad, but I won't get too into that. She knows why. But yeah, I'm not going to say any more about that, but it's kind of resolved. But anyway, so this was to me like a good idea. The other reason I got the bunny was because I knew my heart had been closed because I had a lot of things that had happened throughout the years that I was like, boy, I want to be able to love and not, like open my heart and be close. Like I can have friends, but I'm always kind of been a little distant with people. Believe it or not, people that know me wouldn't think that, but it is true. I've been more like kind of afraid to love and be in relationships and stuff like that. And so I was like, I just had this feeling this is going to help me. Anyway, so I get the bunny and then I was like, oh, the bunny's lonely. So then I asked the lady to give me another bunny. So I had 2 bunnies and that's when my nightmare began. It was really hard. And it was like a second bunny I got was used to running around the house, and I didn't want that kind of bunny. I didn't want a free range bunny. I didn't want to live in a barn. That was never the plan. A bunny is not a cat. Bunnies will eat your house. I mean, they will destroy your house. And like the lady who I got the bunny from, I'd hate to see what her house looked like because she had no floorboards. No, she'd have no floorboards, or cords would be either eaten up or have to be hidden. But yeah, they eat the paint off the wall. No, they're like kind of in the realm of like a hamster, chinchilla, gerbil type of thing. They're not cats. People project that their bunnies want to run around. I don't think they do. I think they want to be safe. Bunnies are 100% scared all the time. So this other bunny was unhappy. So I finally texted the lady. I went to the extreme of I brought her over to the friend's house being like, both of them like, I'm miserable. I don't know what to do. Maybe they can play together. I hated my life for a month. So I finally called the lady. I was like, please take the sister back. I'm sorry. Please, I can't. And the lady was really apologetic. Oh my gosh, I'd bring her back. And so I'd planned to bring the one back, but I decided I was going to bring both of them. I was going to put the one in the box and just stick the other one in there and just be like, here you go. Oops, all right, bye. But part of me was like, wait, but remember why you got the bunny. You got the bunny to help you open your heart. So I was like, okay. So the night before, I picked up the little one, the original one, the OG. I named her Lola. And I looked at her and I was like, Lola, I'm going crazy. You've heard me. I literally won. I don't do this, but in the middle of the night, I yelled at them, which you don't. To get me to that point of it's bad, to yell at bunnies, you need to shut up because I cannot sleep. I was distressed. So I said, Bunny, I said, Lola, I'm going to give your sister back tomorrow. If you, I just don't want to make it, I just didn't want to make another mistake. And I don't know, I've made so many of them. I'm like, do you want to stay or do you want to go? I need to know. Just give me some kind of sign. And I set her down, put her on my lap, and she crawls up and gives me this sweetest little hug. And I was like, oh, you love me. Oh, you love me. Okay, that wasn't obvious because you guys have been misbehaving. So, okay, fine. I'll keep you. I'm like, she's still going to go. And I was worried that Lola was going to be sad and depressed. Next day, brought the bunny back. My whole life got, night and day. It was, and this one is super easy, little, doesn't make it, she's not allowed to run around. I don't let her run around. I know my friends think I'm kind of the ones who have the other bunny, and I think they're like, you're cruel. And I'm like, no, I'm not actually. And other people think that. You keep your bunny in a cage. I'm like, yeah, I do. Bunnies do not want. They'll ruin your life. They'll ruin your house. So he lives in his little cage. And then I pick him up every day. I bring him outside unless it's raining. And he's got his little playpen. He runs around that. It's got a little tube. And he's the happiest little guy. And then I'll bring him and brush him. And then he'll hop up on my shoulder. But he doesn't run off. He doesn't want to run away. He doesn't want to go. He's not allowed to. I'd pick him up and, I've trained him. You're not allowed to do that. And he's happy because he knows he's safe. And bunnies can hang out and burrow in holes all day. I've seen them. They're not cats. People are projecting, they're not people. So long story short, this is the thing. So I had Lola. I was like, oh, little Lola. So cute, so cute. Loves me so freaking much. Like, oh my God. So I was looking at Lola and I noticed that it had like a little bump in her little private area. And I was like, oh no, something's wrong. And then I was worried about her. I was like, oh no. Because a lot of the vets won't even see bunnies because they're considered exotic animals. And I'd have to take her like 50 miles away. And I was like, well, okay, the next day, let's just make sure. Maybe it's something else. I looked and she had 2 and I was like, oh, Lola is not Lola. Lola's not a girl. Lola's a boy. I'm like, well, I guess you're Brian now. So that just caught on and everyone calls him Brian. Brian is a joke, but now his name's kind of Brian. But he's this little dude, little like tiny little bunny, and he's chill and he's just like, sometimes you might hear him in the background, but I think he knows. I think he knows when I'm doing my podcast because he just kind of, but he's the mellowest little guy and he's like just pure love. And I will say I get a little frustrated because I'm like, well, I didn't even think this through. And now I'm like, but I like to do road trips. I like to go out of town. I'm like, I've got to figure that part out. I'm like, okay, but other people have animals and pets and they can figure out how to go out of town, but bunnies are very particular and they're like, they don't like to be around. At least this guy, he's so coddled and like they're so peaceful. However, I have been playing my drums. And so I am getting ready to order the most cutest little drum set, not little, badass. And he's going to have to deal with it. He's going to have to adjust because I can't not live my life. It's very sweet. And yes, my heart has been, I really feel like my heart is now way more open than it was. So I never go into those details on the podcast about all that stuff. Like, it's a little bit too much. A little too much details for like, this is going out to, I like it. I look at my stuff. I look where this goes and it's around the world. It's really cool. And it's there's that part of myself that's like, oh my, who is listening and what am I saying? And, don't want to get too personal. I'm not one of those people that wants my life to be like an open book for, some people are like that. But I limit it. You guys don't know everything, that's not possible. Okay, well, that's all the words I'm going to be saying right now to you. And thanks for listening. Until next time. Okay, bye-bye.